So what I've finished are this battalion of Prussians, standard line infantry, and did a nice couple of flags there, which I tend to do a lot these days. Whoops, the colour unit. I've been using the hat Prussian line command figures for doing these, because you get a few NCOs, officers and musicians, and the rest are made up from the Revell Prussians. I've tried to get them all in the same poses, so lots of guys firing this time, and also the officer there on his splendid white horse, or grey horse, and a little NCO next to him. So yeah, that's another unit of Prussians I've just done. And moving along, I've just finished these Prussian Hussars as well, which are the hat set. Quite fiddly, but like all these fiddly units, once they're finished they look quite spectacular because there's lots and lots of detail on them. Did enjoy painting them, but as everybody knows, when you're painting figures it's very nice to just get them finished and out of the way, isn't it? Instead of looking at them constantly. It does get a bit burdensome. But yeah, so that's another unit to add to my rapidly growing Prussian army. And if you take this into account, that I've just finished these two units, which I finished more or less in February, plus the other two units of cavalry, French cavalry, and the Nassau troops, that's basically a division. I finished in February, so 5 separate units, all done. And I think I'm speeding up because I'm first of all using the gesso, I'm also using Vallejo paints, I'm also putting in a lot of hours painting these days, so that's probably why I'm rapidly churning these units out, which can't be bad, can it? More time you put in. Also I think it helps if your units have fewer colours on them. For example, I'm just going to start doing some Lutzow Freikorps and another battalion of Brunswickers, and they'll all be black primarily, so that should speed up the process considerably. Okay, so that's my latest 2 completed units of Napoleonic figures. What I'm also doing at the moment is I'm setting up my table for a forthcoming Civil War battle. The Royalists are in command of this small village here. There's a water mill, there's a jetty there where the supplies are laden and moved off. There's a little boathouse down there, church in the centre, there's an inn which is called the Otter's Pocket, but I can't change the sign. So yeah, these are all handmade buildings that I've got ready, and the battlefield has various cornfields. These figures here aren't going to stay there, I'm just setting up what I've got to put on the table. There's a road going into town and supplies are rapidly being brought in before they get assaulted. Some Civil War troops moving up there, parliamentarians over at the back here. There's a limber arriving, and in the centre here, sorry for the wobbly camera work, during the night the Parliament forces have smuggled up a mortar with which to shell the town, and within the town there are no cavalry units who can dash out and put the mortar out of action, but they are expecting cavalry. A message has been sent to the nearest cavalry units to arrive because the village is under threat. So I'll be rolling the dice each turn to see if the cavalry reinforcements arrive. In the meantime, the Parliament forces have also got another cunning plan where they're going to send some barges loaded with troops to this jetty in the centre of the town to surprise the arrayed forces from behind. So again, there'll be dice rolls for that to see if they're going to arrive. So it could be the Royalist cavalry arrive first to save the day, or it could be that the Parliamentarian amphibious force lands and takes these guys in the rear. They do have a lookout on the church tower though, so he can see if the cavalry are arriving or if anything else is going amiss. So that's what I shall be doing very soon. I've just got to paint a couple more figures to get this ready, and then I shall be going along with it. Okay. And on the bench, I've had this Zvezda French foot artillery set for a good couple of years, and it's just been sat in my cupboard of chaos for all that time, and I thought I'll start doing that because it's a bit ridiculous that I paid, I think it's about 12 quid or something for this set, but it is a rather splendid set, incredibly complex. You get a 6-horse limber and a 6-horse caisson, and you get 3 guns and enough gunners to go with them. In fact, you get an extra set of gunners just in case you don't want to put the gun on the limber. So I've started sticking them together gradually, because I've found in the past that if you paint all the horses and everything else, then the traces don't actually fit in the horses anymore, because you gunk them up with gesso and paint and glue. So I'm fitting them together first this time so that they are joined up. So I've got the limber sat up there, doing it very steadily because you've got to twist the traces around, which is a novel touch. So you've got to do them one horse at a time, make sure they don't fall out. Caissons up there, and completed gun. The gun's coming in about 11 parts, which do snap together, but it's probably better if you do glue some of them together just so it holds. So I have the artillery guys at the back here who are already primed, and I've started to paint those. And I've also set up some Brunswick troops here that I mentioned earlier to get going on as well. And I've just finished these Prussian Landwehr, which are Westphalians, and they are with the green facings. I was going to just leave them white, but I thought no, I'll do that for the last set. These are airfix guys, as you can probably tell, and I've gone for, in the majority, 2 poses: kneeling down and firing, standing up and firing, because I bought about 6-7 sets of airfix Prussian Landwehr. So I'm just getting ready to base those. They've taken me about, well, I can't tell you how many hours it is I've put in to do them, but I've done them in about 4 or 5 days, maybe. Probably 3, well, maybe I'll say 5 painting sessions it's taken me to finish those. Got these guys at the back who are waiting to join in as well. Just need to finish putting on some buttons on the command figures. And some more of the French foot artillery here. So there you have it, that's what I'm up to, and I'm going to crack on and do some more painting. Take care everybody, and see you all later.